But Alhamdulillah, tonight we have a special guest from Karbala. So before we start our program, we will be listening to some Quran recitation with the brother Ahmad al-Rabayawi after Salat ala Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad.
صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. السلام عليكم. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله الذي أنزل على عبده الكتاب. الحمد لله الذي أنزل على عبده الكتاب ولم يجعل له عوجا. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله الذي أنزل على عبده الكتاب ولم يجعل له عوجا. قيما لينذر بأسا شديدا من لدنه ويبشر المؤمنين الذين يعملون الصالحات أن لهم أجرا حسنا ماكثين فيه أبدا وينذر الذين قالوا اتخذ الله ولدا ما لهم به من علم ولا لآبائهم كبرت كلمة تخرج من أفواههم يقولون إلا كذبا فلعلك باخع نفسك على آثارهم إن لم يؤمنوا فلعلك باخع نفسك على آثارهم إن لم يؤمنوا بهذا الحديث أسفا إنا جعلنا ما على الأرض زينة لها لنبلوهم أيهم أحسن عملا وإنا لجاعلون ما عليها صعيدا جرزا أم حسبت أن أصحاب الكهف والرقيم كانوا من آياتنا عجبا أم حسبت أن أصحاب الكهف والرقيم كانوا من آياتنا عجبا إذ أوى الفتية إلى الكهف فقالوا ربنا آتنا من لدنك رحمة وهيئ لنا من أمرنا رشدا صدق الله العلي العظيم صلوا على محمد وآل محمد.
Ahsant. Beautiful recitation. Ahsant. I'd like to start with a few announcements quickly. As you all know, this Saturday at 5 p.m. we have the service day in the honor of Imam Hussain. This is at the Plymouth Islamic Cemetery, and the details are on the flyers to sign up, and we'd like to all see you there at 5 o'clock, inshallah. Also, we have the Arba'een art competition on August 27. Submissions are underway. All submissions have to be due by August 24. Again, the details are on the flyers of how to sign up and pay. Also, after a successful first year, the City of Knowledge Weekend School, the Sunday school, is now open for registration. As you all know, last year we were limited to only accept around 80 80 kids or students. This year we rented the place next door here down on the same complex, the same parking lot, and inshallah we should be able to get more students. We, as of this morning, we are almost 100 students, so all of these seats are filling up quickly, so please register your kids if you're planning to do this year. The other good news is, inshallah, we are in a process of planning for an Arabic Saturday school as well. So we are still in a planning phase. More details would come later, but if you want to volunteer as maybe a teacher or someone who could help building the structure of the school, please make sure you see us and we'll give you more details. One of the other programs also we're working on is tutoring. With the beginning of the new school year, we will have a program for our kids for tutoring different subjects, and maybe 2 or 3 times a week. We'll work on the details. We'll share it later. But if you are interested in helping or being a tutor or in any subject you like, please see us as well. We appreciate your help. The final announcement we have, it's another good news. As you all may have seen right here, we have reached the $820,000 of the $950,000 goal to buy the land. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. You were very generous during Muharram. A lot of you have donated. Muharram is, or Ashura is over. Well, it's not technically over because كل يوم عاشوراء كل أرض كربلاء. So if you did not get the chance during the days of Muharram, you can always see us, pledge, and help us. We want to reach our goal. We have $130,000 left. We have less than 4 weeks to close on the land. So, inshallah, we'll make it happen. Inshallah, we'll make it happen with your help. And if you like to pledge or you're thinking to do so and you need more details, please see me or Hossein. We should be able to help you. Okay, and now I'm honored to introduce our special guest, as I said, from Karbala, Sayyid Hussain Qazwini. Sayyid Hussain Qazwini is a graduate of the UC Berkeley. He is a student of Najaf and Karbala under high-ranking scholars. He's a teacher of Bahath Khariji in Karbala. I don't know myself as Bahath Khariji, but I know it's one of the most complex and high-level subjects that they teach on seminaries. How's that? So he also authored numerous books, and of course he's the uncle of our beloved Sayyid Saleh and a brother of our beloved Sayyid Muhammad as well, another branch from the Shajara Mubarak of the Qazwinis. Without further ado, now with Sayyid Hussain and the lecture titled Interfaith and Intrafaith Dialogue after Salat ala Muhammadin wa Ali Muhammad.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على خير خلق الله أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين صلى الله عليك يا سيدي ويا مولاي يا أبا عبد الله صلى الله عليك يا سيدي يا ابن رسول الله يا رحمة الله الواسعة ويا باب نجاة الأمة ويا عبرة كل مؤمن ومؤمنة يا ليتنا كنا معكم سادتي فنفوز فوزا عظيما. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ولا تجادلوا أهل الكتاب إلا بالتي هي أحسن إلا الذين ظلموا منهم. عطروا أفواهكم بذكر الصلاة على محمد وآل محمد. For the past several decades, there have been serious attempts to engage in interfaith dialogue between world religions, Islam, Christianity, and Judaism. The followers of these different faiths, there have been serious attempts to engage in conversation, to understand one another, to know one another. And We have seen world conferences, workshops, many events, many visits. Of course, we can categorize the visit of the Pope to the holy city of Najaf in 2021 when he visited Samahat Sayyid Sistani Hafidhahullah. This was a highlight. This was a major event in the world of dialogue between world religions. This was a very important event. And we recently saw, just 3 days ago, that Samahat Sayyid Sistani also wrote a letter to the Pope in the Vatican. Islam, my dear brothers and sisters, encourages dialogue with other religions, with world religions. We see several verses in the Quran that begin, قُلْ يَا أَهْلَ الْكِتَابِ. Say, O the people of the book. And even this concept itself, people of the book, that means we have something in common. We have a book and you have a book. We both are people of the book. The Quran says, engage them. Engage people of other religions. قُلْ يَا أَهْلَ الْكِتَابِ. In one verse, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us to emphasize what we have in common. Not to emphasize what we differentiate or what we disagree upon, but rather what we have in common. قُلْ يَا أَهْلَ الْكِتَابِ تَعَالَوْا إِلَىٰ كَلِمَةٍ سَوَاءٍ بَيْنَنَا وَبَيْنَكُمْ. Let us come, O the people of the book, let us come to agree on something that we have in common. كَلِمَةٍ سَوَاءٍ بَيْنَنَا وَبَيْنَكُمْ أَلَّا نَعْبُدَ إِلَّا اللَّهِ. A common ground that we do not worship other than Allah. وَلَا نُشْرِكَ بِهِ شَيْئًا. And we do not perform shirk. وَلَا يَتَّخِذَ بَعْضُنَا بَعْضًا أَرْبَابًا مِن دُونِ اللَّهِ. And that we don't worship one another, or we worship each other. We worship some members of our communities. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also tells us that those people of other faiths and religions, if they do not fight you, if they do not drive you out of your lands, if they show no animosity towards you, be good to them. Show kindness to them. لا ينهاكم الله عن الذين لم يقاتلوكم في الدين ولم يخرجوكم من دياركم أن تبروهم وتقسطوا إليهم. Those who don't fight you from other faiths, be good to them. Show kindness to them. Be fair with them. أن تبروهم وتقسطوا إليهم إن الله يحب المقسطين. Allah Azza wa Jal also tells us not to argue with people of the book. Christians, Jews, don't argue with them. There was no reason to argue and start a quarrel. On the contrary, start with common ground. Tell them that we believe in the same God. We believe in the same heaven and the same hell, and we believe in the Day of Judgment. Start with what you have in common. Allah says, وَلَا تُجَادِلُوا أَهْلَ الْكِتَابِ إِلَّا بِالَّتِي هِيَ أَحْسَنُ. Unless there is some good in argument with them, fine. Otherwise, don't argue. إِلَّا بِالَّتِي هِيَ أَحْسَنُ إِلَّا الَّذِينَ ظَلَمُوا مِنْهُمْ وَقُولُوا آمَنَّا بِالَّذِي أُنزِلَ إِلَيْنَا وَأُنزِلَ إِلَيْكُمْ. Tell them that we believe in what is revealed to us, and we believe what is revealed to you. We believe in your prophets. We believe in Jesus and Moses. We believe in the Torah and the Injil. These are divinely revealed books. Now, have they've been tampered with or not? This is a different discussion. We believe they've been tampered with. But the original Torah, we accept it as a book of revelation. The original Injil, we believe it. We accept it as a book of revelation. وَقُولُوا آمَنَّا بِالَّذِي أُنزِلَ إِلَيْنَا وَأُنزِلَ إِلَيْكُمْ وَإِلَهُنَا وَإِلَهُكُمْ وَاحِدٌ. We believe in the same God, O Christians and Jews. You don't have a God different from ours. We may call him differently. We may call him different names. Jews call God Yahweh. We call him Allah. And so on and so forth. We might have different names, but the essence is one. وَإِلَهُنَا وَإِلَهُكُمْ وَاحِدٌ وَنَحْنُ لَهُ مُسْلِمُونَ. In Islam, my dear friends, we learn respect for other faiths and religions. This is what Islam teaches us. And if you see a speaker, a scholar that preaches hate and hatred and animosity towards people of other faiths and religions, known that this person does not represent Scripture, does not represent the Quran. Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam one day was walking in the streets of Kufa while he was the Khalifa of the time. He was the ruler. He saw a beggar in the streets of Kufa. He said, "Ma hadha?" What is this? He didn't ask, "Man hadha?" Who is this? He asked, "What is this?" Because the sight of a beggar begging during the days of Amir al-Mu'mineen was something extraordinary. During the time of Amir al-Mu'mineen, there were no beggars because there was no poverty. So they told him, "Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen, innahu nasrani qad kabura wa ajaza wa yatakaffaf." This person is a Christian. He's a Christian beggar. He's become an old man and now he's begging, thinking that this will reduce Amir al-Mu'mineen's anger. As long as he's a Christian beggar, it's okay. Amir al-Mu'mineen was very upset. He said, "Ma ansaftumuh, ista'maltumuh, hatta idha kabura wa ajaza, taraktumuh." You have not done justice to him. When he was young, you made use of him. You made him go through hard labor. Now that he's old, you leave him to beg. اجروا له من بيت المال راتبا. Have him a set salary, a monthly salary from the Islamic treasury. For Amir al-Mu'mineen, it didn't make a difference whether the beggar was a Muslim or a Christian. Amir al-Mu'mineen was known for his famous saying in Nahj al-Balagha, فَالنَّاسُ صَنْفَانِ إِمَّا أَخٌ لَكَ فِي الدِّينِ أو نَظِيرٌ لَكَ فِي الْخَلْقِ. People are of two kinds, either your brethren in faith or your counterpart in humanity. If he's not your brethren in faith, he's a brother in humanity. This is how we should see everyone else. We don't divide people in two camps. Like one famous president once said, "You're either with us or against us." No, we don't have that in Islam. We don't give people ultimatums and we tell them to choose. You're either with us or against us. We tell them you're either our brethren in faith or you're our brethren in humanity. We're all brothers in humanity. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. With the Christians and Jews in his community, under his watch, they were called Ahl al-Dhimma. Ahl al-Dhimma were Christians and Jews that lived in the Muslim nation, and they enjoyed their rights, and they enjoyed protection. Their rights were very similar to the rights of the Muslims. Yes, they would pay a different tax called jizya, while Muslims paid zakat and khums. But they enjoyed the rights. Rasulullah would say, "Man adha dhimmiyan fa'ana khasmuhu yawm al-qiyamah." He who hurts or assaults a dhimmi, meaning a Christian and Jew whom we have an agreement with, whom we have a bond with, then I will face him on the Day of Judgment. And I will stand to argue with him on the Day of Judgment. One day, Imam Sadiq alayhi salam, and there's this hadith al-Sahih, it's in Al-Kafi, Sahihatu Abdullah ibn Sinan. He says, قَذَفَ رَجُلٌ مَجُوسِيًّا عِنْدَ أَبِي Abdullah. A Majusi, a Zoroastrian man was mentioned in the presence of Al-Imam al-Sadiq. Zoroastrians, they have different laws from us. In their faith, a brother can marry a sister. It's in their faith, it's in their religion. So this individual, in the presence of Imam al-Sadiq, he used a very negative word towards that Zoroastrian. How could he marry his sister or a relative? Imam al-Sadiq told him, "Mah, stop. قال إنه ينكح أمه وأخته." Ibn Rasulullah, this man marries his mother or his sister. This is unheard of. The Imam said, "نعم ذلك عندهم نكاح في دينهم." In another narration, لكل قوم نكاح. This is their marriage. This is their law. There's no reason to make fun of them or ridicule them. There's no reason to ridicule them for what they believe in. And another hadith mentioned in Bihar al-Anwar. Al-Allam al-Majlisi mentions this hadith in Bihar al-Anwar, and in Bihar al-Anwar, that Rasulullah was sitting with a group of his companions, a Jewish corpse of a Jewish individual passed by. Rasulullah stood. He stood up. قام النبي صلى الله عليه وآله وأصحابه لجنازة يهودي حتى توارت, until the body was buried. Rasulullah remained standing. So they told him, قيل إنه يهودي يا Rasulullah, this person is Jewish. Why would you stand for this corpse while it belongs to a Jewish person? Rasulullah said, أليست نفسا? Is he not a human being? So what is it if he's Jewish or a Christian? He's a human being. I respect him as a human. This is what Rasulullah would teach us. Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam one day passed by a rundown church. One of his companions, he said, هذا بيت طالما أشرك بالله فيه. This is a house in which Allah, time and time again, they perform shirk in this house. Amir al-Mu'mineen said, no. You have it wrong. هذا بيت طالما عبد الله فيه. This is a house that time and time again Allah was worshipped. This is a house of worship. It's a house of worship. Whether it's a church or a synagogue or a mosque, these are places of worship. Islam respects these places of worship. Just because they worship differently from us doesn't mean that we can tarnish this place or have disrespect for that place. No, it's a place of worship. It's a house of God, whether it's a church or a synagogue or a mosque. This is our faith, my dear friends. This is our religion. Our religion teaches us respect for other religions and followers of other religions. Imam Hussain, rahmatullahi alayhi, in Lebanon, this great scholar, who left us at a very early time. If he passed away, may Allah be pleased with him. If he's still alive, may he return to us safely. As Sayyid Musa Sadr, rahmatullahi alayhi, one day in Lebanon, in an area, there's Christians, there are Muslims, maybe a heavily Muslim populated area. There was and everyone in Lebanon knows this story. There was an ice cream seller, but no one buys from. No one is buying from his ice cream. Why? Because he's Christian. And Muslims believe that Christians are najis. How can you buy ice cream? How can you buy food? So he saw that this person is selling ice cream, but no one is buying from him. So he stopped and he bought ice cream and he started eating in front of everyone. And you know, in the etiquettes of Hawza, you don't do this. You don't eat food, let alone ice cream, in the street. But as Sayyid Musa Sadr wanted to set a lesson, that so what if he's a Christian that is selling ice cream? What's the difference between a Muslim selling ice cream or a Christian selling ice cream? And that person's business boomed from the day that Sayyid Musa Sadr bought ice cream from him. People went and they started buying ice cream from him. In modern day Iraq, my dear friends, Samahat Sayyid Sistani, when Daesh entered Iraq and they occupied our lands in Iraq, when half of the country fell in the hands of Daesh, as Sayyid Sistani, the same way that he fought for Muslim blood, he fought for Christian blood. The same way that he would preach and speak and defend Muslim blood, he defended Christian blood and Yazidi blood. And Yazidis, they're not even from people of the book. They're not people of the book, but they are a religious faction in Iraq whom Sayyid Sistani fought for their rights. And he defended them. And we all saw pictures of Al-Hashd al-Sha'bi in Iraq. The same way, when they liberated certain towns and cities, they helped build churches. They helped bring back bells to churches. These are the teachings of Islam. This is what Islam teaches us. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. There was a man by the name of Ibn Abi al-Awja. Ibn Abi al-Awja was a pagan, mushrik, or mulhid, or he didn't even believe in God. Not that he was a pagan, he didn't even believe in God. Time and time again, he would come to Imam Sadiq alayhi salam and he would engage in dialogue. He would engage in dialogue peacefully, respectfully, academically. Not once did Imam Sadiq raise his voice against Ibn Abi al-Awja and tell him that, what are you saying? What you're saying is blasphemous, that I need to kill you or I need to do this. No. And Imam Sadiq was always respectful with Ibn Abi al-Awja. Although Ibn Abi al-Awja was an atheist, and he kept on making arguments against Islam, against the Quran. Yeah, Imam Sadiq was always nice to him. One day, Ibn Abi al-Awja has a dialogue, a conversation with Hisham ibn al-Hakam, one of the companions of Imam Sadiq. Hisham ibn al-Hakam raised his voice. He got angry at Ibn Abi al-Awja. Ibn Abi al-Awja told him, Ya Hisham, calm down. When I speak to your teacher, Imam Sadiq, he doesn't get angry with me, but you get angry with me? Learn from your teacher. Learn from your teacher, Imam Sadiq, how to have patience, how to have tolerance for other views. Why would you get angry with me for having an academic conversation, an academic dialogue? Some say, Sayyid, but what is the purpose of dialogue? To sit with Christians, Jews, interfaith events. By the way, I think some individuals believe that tonight was going to be an interfaith event. I'm sorry to disappoint you. The topic is interfaith, but it wasn't an interfaith event. Inshallah, next time. And I will get to that. And I believe that Mecca, under the guidance of my dear, respected, honorable nephew, Sayyid Salih al-Qazwini, you can do a lot in interfaith. And this is what I'd like to introduce tonight. With the name of Mecca and this beautiful Islamic center, there's a lot to do when it comes to interfaith engagement and interfaith outreach and interfaith dialogue. What is the purpose, my dear friends? Some say that the purpose of interfaith dialogue, when we gather at conferences, when we visit churches, or they visit our mosques, is to convert one another. They either convert us to Christianity or we convert them to Islam. No. That is simply not the purpose of dialogue. The purpose of dialogue, when we have dialogue with other religions, we are not giving up on our faiths and principles. Not one. Not one of our principles do we compromise. We do not compromise on our faith, on our belief, on our principles, and we are not apologetic. What we believe in, we strongly hold to our faith and our belief. But what is the purpose of dialogue? Some say that today there's a hoax. Those who call for the dialogue of world religions, the purpose is to form an Abrahamic faith. Al-Din al-Ibrahimi is to form one religion. This is a hoax. There's no such thing. The purpose of interfaith dialogue is not to form one faith. No. As a Muslim, respect your faith. As a Christian, respect your faith. As a Jew, respect your faith. The purpose behind dialogue is one, my dear friends, to understand one another. To understand one another and to work with one another. Today, my dear friends, we have common challenges. There are challenges that all people of faith face, not just as Muslims, but as Christians and Jews, and we need to work together. There's an African proverb that says, if you want to walk fast, walk alone. But if you want to walk far, walk together. I'm sure you've tried that during Arba'een. You want to walk fast? Walk by yourself. Don't have anyone with you. But if you want to walk far, walk with others. Have a companion and you will walk far. Today, my dear friends, we need to walk far in this nation. People of faith, people of religions, we face common challenges. Today, whether you're a Muslim or a Christian or a Jew, we have common challenges. One, youth are running away from religion. Places of worship are empty. Not just mosques, even churches, even synagogues. Places of worship are empty. Youth are running away from religion. Today there's a common challenge. There's the gender issue at schools. Teaching our children at the age of 6, 7, 8, do you want to be a boy or do you want to be a girl? Come and choose your gender. Something that doesn't make sense. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created us, this human nature, to understand who we are and what our identity is. Allah created us as men and women. إِنَّا خَلَقْنَا يَا أَيُّهَا النَّاسِ إِنَّا خَلَقْنَاكُم مِّن ذَكَرٍ وَأُنثَى وَجَعَلْنَاكُمْ شُعُوبًا وَقَبَائِلَ لِتَعَارَفُوا. These people who claim to follow science. Where is science? Where is science? God created us as men and women. males and females. You want to change that? There's a threat, my dear friends. There's a threat. In addition to the propaganda from the LGBTQ community that are trying day and night to indoctrinate our young children. They're coming after our children, my dear friends. And they're not stopping. They're going at high speed to come after my children and your children. Now, this is a threat. This is a common threat. A common threat. Whether you're a Muslim or a Christian or a Jew, this is a common threat. We need to work together to overcome this threat. We are here to stay, my dear friends. You know, lately, I've been hearing from a lot of people that we are going to pack our bags and leave. Leave where? Where do you think you're going? Iraq? Good luck with that. Lebanon? Afghanistan? Iran? Where do you want to go? I assure these families who say we will pack our bags and leave, I give them a year or 2 years at most, and they will be back. We are here to stay, my dear friends. That's why we need to think of real solutions. And these real solutions, these real threats, we can only face them if we work together with other peoples of faith and other religions. Because this is not just an Islamic threat. This is a threat for all people of faith. And we can work together. We live in a country that is diverse. There's Christians, there's Jews, there's Buddhists, there's Muslims, there's Hindus. This country is diverse. We live in a diverse community. And there's so much that we could do to work together. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Some think that the notion of interfaith dialogue is a hoax, and the only purpose is normalization with Israel. That is the purpose why Muslims, Christians, and Jews should get together, work at conferences. The purpose is normalization with Israel. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. This is not the reason why we promote interfaith. The Quran promoted interfaith 14 centuries ago. The Quran says, قُلْ يَا أَهْلَ الْكِتَابِ. In many verses, the verses begin, قُلْ يَا أَهْلَ الْكِتَابِ. Oh, the people of the book, let's get together and discuss common ground, what we have in common together. It has nothing to do with normalization with Israel. Some say that Islam opposes interfaith dialogue. How? Because Islam considers Christians and Jews to be najis. They are najis. And hence we are meant to keep a distance. Keep your distance from Christians and Jews. Islam put that barrier so that we do not engage in dialogue. So that we don't mix, we don't mingle with people of other faiths. This is absolutely not true. Not true. We have scholars today, many of our scholars today, they say people of the book are what? Tahir. Christians and Jews are tahir. As Sayyid Muhsin al-Hakim, rahmatullahi alayh, he was a brave mujtahid who came out and he said that the narrations that discuss the tahara, the purity and impurity of the people of the book, it doesn't say that they are impure innately. Innately they are impure. No, no, no. It's because they drink wine. They drink alcohol. They eat pork. They are najis because of these things, not because they are innately an najasa dhatiyah. No, they are not najis innately. In fact, there are some jurists that are coming out today that are saying that all humans are pure. All humans are pure. As Sayyid Muhammad Sa'id al-Hakim, rahmatullahi alayh, in Najaf, I had the honor of attending his upper level lessons in Najaf for several weeks, and he passed away less than 2 years ago. Sayyid Muhammad Sa'id al-Hakim, the last fatwa that he issued before his death was that all humans are pure. All humans are pure. Whether you're a Muslim or a Christian or a Jew or even a Buddhist, even a Hindu, they're all pure. We have such fatwas. So there is no barrier that stands between us and dialogue. What do we have to gain, my dear friends? What do we benefit from dialogue? Number one, world peace. Imagine if Muslims, Christians, Jews, Sunni, Shia, everyone sat and had peaceful dialogue to understand one another. Again, not to convert one another. When I have a dialogue with a Christian, I don't want to convert him to Christianity, nor do I want him to convert me. Do I want to convert him to Islam, nor do I want him to convert me to Christianity. No. But we want to understand one another and to work one another on common challenges. World peace. Look at all the terrorism that happens in the name of religion, in the name of faith, and in the name of religion. We saw several years ago in Myanmar what happened with Buddhist monks against the Muslims in that area. Hate done in the name of religion. Al-Qaeda, Daesh, the hate that they had against people of other religions like Christians, Yazidis, and others, and even Muslims themselves. Muslims were the biggest victims to Al-Qaeda and ISIS. We can put an end to, we can work together. We can work together. There's a saying in Arabic that says, Al-yadu al-wahida la tusfiq. You can't clap with one hand. Can you clap with one hand? Unless you're very imaginative and creative, that's another story. Otherwise, I haven't seen anyone that can clap with one hand. You need two hands. You need two hands to clap. You need a team to work together. Interfaith dialogue helps us remove misconceptions regarding Islam, my dear friends. People are ignorant of Islam. Look at the burning of the Quran. That happened in Sweden. Why? Why would anyone burn the Quran? Why? What does Islam say that other books don't have to say? Doesn't Islam preach tolerance and respect and love? But it is misunderstood. It is ignorance that drove that person. And I think that person was after popularity. He wanted to become popular and he became popular. He wanted fame, he became famous. And today it's very simple. Today it's very simple. If you see someone reading the Quran, you don't become famous. Someone passing out a copy of the Quran, you don't become famous. You want to become famous? Set the Quran on fire. And you become famous. There's ignorance. There's a lot of ignorance. Dialogue helps reduce ignorance. It helps us understand one another, know more about each other. To recognize how much we have in common. How much the Quran and the Torah and the Injil, how much they have in common. The stories, the figures. You know, these prophets, Ibrahim, Nuh, Musa, Isa, Ismail, Ishaq, Yaqub, Yusuf, all of these prophets, they're accepted by all of these religions. They accept them as prophets, we accept them as prophets. What's the difference? Except that we believe in Khatam al-Anbiya Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala. Also, my dear friends, we are a minority in this country, in this society. We want Islam to be recognized. How do we do that if we don't engage in interfaith dialogue? How do we want our holidays like Eid al-Fitr and Ashura to be recognized? And we saw tweets or messages from the president or from your local state representative, the U.S. Congress member that represents your area. We saw certain tweets, and this is what we need. Recognition of our faith, recognition of Ashura, recognition of Imam Hussain alayhi salam, recognition of our events and our holidays. How do we do that? We let others work, or we go and we engage. We do the work. We engage with others. We invite them to come to our Islamic centers. What stops dialogue, my dear friends? What stops us from engaging in others? There are several factors. Number one, hate speech. Hate speech. We condemn people to hell. There are some speakers that come behind the podium and they believe they are the gatekeepers of heaven and hell. They are the sheriffs. Someone gave them a badge by accident and appointed them as a sheriff to heaven and hell. This group goes to heaven and that group goes to hell. Christians go to hell, Jews go to hell, and they're the only person that go to heaven. Who appointed you? Who appointed you as a gatekeeper to heaven and hell? This hate rhetoric, my dear friends, this hate speech stops in the face of interfaith dialogue. We need to put an end to hate speech. The emphasis on differences, no. We need to learn from the Quran, an emphasis on what we have in common, not an emphasis on what divides us. Also, ignorance, my dear friends, misinformation, ignorance, not reading about other schools of thought, not reading about other religions. Ignorance will stop you from engaging in dialogue. We, followers of Ahlul Bayt, we've been victims of ignorance. In our countries back home, we saw what others believed in us, how they saw us, how they viewed us. They believed that we have another Quran. We believe that Jibreel made a mistake. Instead of going to Ali ibn Abi Talib, Jibreel accidentally went to Rasulullah. They accuse us. They accuse us of such accusations. This stems from where? Ignorance, misinformation, lack of learning, lack of reading. Insecurity is also another problem. That no, we should not engage with Christians and Jews. What if we're affected? What if our children are affected and they convert to Christianity, they convert to Judaism? No, we do not feel insecure. We have no insecurities. We know our faith, we know our religion, we know the truth, but we'd like to engage with others. Now, there are steps, my dear friends. There are steps. The fatwa of Sayyid al-Hakim in saying that Christians and Jews are tahir, this was a step. This was a step. There have been many steps towards interfaith dialogue, conferences, meetings. And this is what I'd like to say tonight. I would like to invite this Islamic Center here in Mecca on this blessed Thursday night to officially start an interfaith program and start with the local churches, start with the local synagogues, temples, and with other mosques as well. Unfortunately, there are some people that are willing to engage in interfaith dialogue, but they are not willing to engage in intrafaith. What do we mean by intrafaith? Interfaith, meaning Muslim, Christian, Jewish, Buddhist, Hindu dialogue. Intrafaith, with an A, intrafaith dialogue, means what? Sunni and Shi'i. You see some people that are willing to engage with Christians, Jews, and Buddhists in dialogue, but they are not willing to engage with Shia. No, not with Shia. Why? Interfaith dialogue starts with intrafaith dialogue. If you can't sit with fellow Muslims, with Sunni and Shia, they can't sit together and discuss. How do you expect others to listen to you? وصلوا على محمد وآل محمد. My dear friends, amongst the purposes of interfaith dialogue is to introduce Imam Hussain alayhi salam. Imam Hussain is the son of Ali and the son of Fatima and the grandson of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But he is for all. We should not keep him for ourselves. We need to share him. We need to introduce the world who is Imam Hussain. What did he do? What did he accomplish? Imam Hussain was the martyr of this nation. We should not restrict him just for the Shia. His majalis, we need to introduce others. During Muharram, other times, introduce others, bring friends. Let us introduce the world to the message of Imam Hussain. If people knew who Imam Hussain was, they would flock to our faith and our school of thought. But we haven't introduced them properly. It's our shortcoming. If Imam Hussain was a Christian, you would see how Christians would sell the idea of Imam Hussain. If Imam Hussain was Jewish, you would see how Jews sell the idea of Imam Hussain. But what have we done? We have restricted him to our communities and our people only. And that is our shortcoming towards Imam Hussain. Imam Hussain is a universal message, a message that needs to be delivered to everyone. Anyone who hears the message of Imam Hussain will fall in love, whether you're a Shi'i or a Sunni, a Christian or a Jew or even a Buddhist, even a Hindu, because the ideal that Imam Hussain died for was an ideal for humanity. All you have to be is a human to love what Imam Hussain alayhi salam did. Now let us come, as we near the end of our lecture, let us see What is happening to the caravan of Imam Hussain alayhi salam? 7 days have passed. 7 very difficult days have passed after the martyrdom of Imam Hussain. Where is As-Sayyidah Zainab tonight? Where are the women? Where are their children? On their way to Kufa. They're on their way to Kufa in the middle of the desert. The women were being paraded. The children were being paraded. And the heads of Imam Hussain alayhi salam and his companions were on spears as they head towards Kufa. Imam Zain al-Abidin and Sayyidah Zainab, and they're all in the middle of the desert. All of a sudden they notice that the blessed head of Imam Hussain alayhi salam looks towards the desert. His head turns on the spear and looks towards the desert. And his eyes fixate on a position. And Imam Zain al-Abidin, he said, Amma Zainab, is everyone in the caravan? Is everyone here? Do a head count. Because I see the eyes of my father, it's fixated on a position. This is very strange. Why? They do a head count and they notice that one of the daughters of Imam Hussain is missing from the caravan. She's lost in the desert. They go back and they find the daughter, the orphan of Imam Hussain alayhi salam, and it's as if his sister Zainab is complaining to her brother. Lisanu hal as-Sayyidah Zainab, as she complains to her brother for taking care of his orphans. What a difficult task it is. خويا أنا تحيرت والله بيتامك أنا مالي حل فرقاك هاي تصيح عمه وين عمي ذيك تصيح فارقني ابن أمي. Imam Hussain alayhi salam, his head was a miracle. The head of Imam Hussain. The head of Imam Hussain would recite verses of Quran. He would say, أم حسبت أن أصحاب الكهف والرقيم كانوا من آياتنا عجبا. The man in the caravan, one of the soldiers, he would say, يا ابن رسول الله بل رأسك أعجب. Your head is greater, a greater miracle than the people of the cave. بل رأسك أعجب يا ابن رسول الله. Until they reach Kufa. And as Sayyidah Zainab enters, the caravan enters Kufa, and they come in the presence of Ubaidullah ibn Ziyad. And Ubaidullah ibn Ziyad is in his court, and he has the head of Imam Hussain displayed in front of him. When Zainab comes and she sees the head of Imam Hussain displayed in front of Ibn Ziyad, and he speaks to Zainab in a condescending manner, أَرَأَيْتِ صُنْعَ اللَّهِ بِكِ وَأَبِي أَخِيكِ الْحُسَيْنِ. Zainab, did you see what Allah has done to you and done to your brother and your brothers? Here Sayyidah Zainab says, مَا رَأَيْتُ إِلَّا جَمِيلًا. I saw nothing but beauty. He tries to upset Sayyidah Zainab, but Sayyidah Zainab is that strong being, that strong human being. And then they take the women and children and they parade them in the streets of Kufa. Kufa, the city where Sayyidah Zainab would not leave her house during the day so that men would not see her during the day. She would only leave at night. Today, Zainab is being paraded in broad daylight so that everyone can see her, and her nieces see the children of Imam Hussain being paraded in the streets of Kufa. تتفرج الوادم علينا عمت عين اليصد بالعين لينا ويخسى يخسل قال لن غايب ولينا. During this period, as the caravan of Imam Hussain was going to Kufa, Imam Zain al-Abidin, he came back to Karbala. Miraculously, Imam Zain al-Abidin, on the third day after Ashura, he came back to Karbala to put the bodies to rest, to bury the bodies of Imam Hussain and his companions. Bani Asad, a tribe, a local tribe, they come and they tell him, Ya ibn Rasulullah, we will help you to bury the bodies. They helped him bury all of the bodies except the broken body of Imam Hussain alayhi salam. And what was remaining of his body, he had to collect the pieces, the bits and pieces, bring them together. Imam Zain al-Abidin alayhi salam, he himself dug the grave of his father. He put his father in his grave, that headless body. He put it with the broken ribs, with the broken finger. He put Imam Hussain in his grave. As he was leaving, Imam Zain al-Abidin removed the dust from his hands and he said, Abatah, amma ad-dunya faba'daka mudlimah, wa amma al-akhirah fabinuri wajhika mushriqah. My father, as for dunya, dunya is dark without you. And as for akhirah, it is glowing with your face. There's a hadith that says, as Imam Zain al-Abidin alayhi salam, he was leaving the grave of Imam Hussain alayhi salam. As he left, he heard a voice from the grave from Imam Hussain alayhi salam telling him, Waladi Ali, nawilni waladi al-radhi' wassid ilayya waladi al-radhi'. My son Ali, bring me thy baby and put him on my chest. What a chest, what a broken chest that Imam Hussain had. He wanted this small baby, this small child to rest on the chest of Imam Hussain alayhi salam. وَرَضِيعُوا بِدَمِ الْوَرِيدِ مُخَضَّبٌ فَاطْلُبْ رَضِيعَهُ لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون. نسألك اللهم وندعوك باسمك العلي الأعظم الأعز الأجل الأكرم يا الله. اللهم لا تدع لنا ذنبا إلا غفرته، ولا هما إلا فرجته، ولا عيبا إلا سترته، ولا خوفا إلا آمنته، ولا رزقا إلا بسطته، ولا شملا إلا جمعته، ولا مرضا إلا شفيته، ولا غائبا إلا حفظته وأدنيته، ولا حاجة من حوائج الدنيا والآخرة لك فيها رضا ولنا فيها صلاح إلا قضيتها ويسرتها يا أرحم الراحمين. ولأرواح المؤمنين والمؤمنات نقرأ سورة الفاتحة مع الصلوات.
Now we're gonna listen to Muhammad Rida with a Latmiya. Just quickly, 1 minute. But it's Muhammad Rida, you don't get to hear it all the time, so here you go. Come here. Here you go.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. The skies wept on the day of Ashura when Hussein fell in the land of Karbala. Wa Husseina, Wa Husseina, Wa Husseina. One by one his companions died, leaving him alone. Wa Husseina, Wa Husseina, Wa Husseina. Abbas fell and lost his hands near the Furat. Wa Husseina, Wa Husseina. صل على محمد وآل محمد.
MashaAllah. Thank you so much. Yes. So okay, so we have a Salat Jama'ah in a few minutes, inshallah, and we will have a dua Kumail right after that, inshallah.